heals.com. And this is a very, very special video because it speaks of the Mars-Venus conjunction. And I shall speak in great detail about this. And not only will I speak about tropical astrology, I will also give you the Vedic placements and the Nakshatra. Okay, and as well as the Sabian symbol, and of course the whole thing with the tropical astrology. So let us begin with the tropical astrology placement. So we have Venus, the planet of love, the planet of beauty, the planet of money, the planet of interpersonal relationships, the ruler of Taurus and Libra, her exaltation being Pisces. She is conjunct Mars. Mars, ruler of Aries and Scorpio, exaltation Capricorn at 28 degrees, and Mars is the inherent will within us, the fire in our bellies. Mars is our action principle. Venus is our desire principle. Without Mars, we will not be able to take any decisive action or move and do anything pretty much. Without Mars, there would be nothing. And of course, when you fight for something, there comes a time when you sit down and enjoy it. If you've had victory, maybe in a long feud, in a legal battle, you've had victory. You sit down and you think about it and you enjoy it. That enjoyment part is Venus, right? So we have a conjunction of the male and the female archetype in the sky. That is Mars, male, Venus, female, meeting together and kissing one another in Capricorn. Okay, so Venus is at 1657 of Capricorn. Mars is at 1658 of Capricorn. Okay, now oftentimes I've noticed that people who have Venus-Mars conjunction, Venus-Mars conjunction, they are in a sense they relate to the opposite sex depending on how they have fared with the parent of the opposite sex. So for instance, if it's a man, he's always going to deal with women in relation to the relationship he had with his mother. Okay, so if it was good, he's going to try to bring out that relationship when he meets someone, when he is going out with someone, when he's dating someone. If it's a woman, she will always look to the man in her life, the first man in her life, her father, and based on that relationship, she is going to interact with the future males that she encounters, lovers, workers, colleagues, and so on and so forth. But more so lovers, because Mars is again a symbol of the libido. Okay, whereas Venus is of course sensuality, sexuality. So there's going to be a huge enhancement of that feeling. And remember, Capricorn ruled by Saturn is actually very sexual. We don't ever associate sexuality to Saturn, right? Because he's cold, he's old, he's lame, he's decrepit, bad, malevolent. But remember that there's a very sensual side to Saturn, and more so Capricorn, because it is the exaltation of Mars. So immediately you understand there's high libido present in this sign. Okay, there's a sense of wanting to just connect with someone and in some ways overpower them with your energy, right? So now the thing is that February 16th and March 6th are the exact conjunctions. Okay, February 16th to March 6th they are in conjunction. Okay, because of Venus's retrograde movement. She was retrograde and now she's stationary forward. So she and Mars are sort of keeping up with each other this whole month. Okay, now what is the first thing when you think about a Venus and Mars conjunction? You think of intense passion. Okay, intense passion, you can understand that by Aries and Scorpio. That intensity, that feeling of, With Scorpio, it's soul penetrative sex, whereas with Aries, it's like, that fire that comes alive in the bedroom, right? The kind of power play in the bedroom, the kind of dominating or surrendering. All of this, wow, nice. Even I have a Mars-Venus conjunction. Different nakshatras, but same sign. So the mind will be very preoccupied with amorous games, love, romance, sexual conquest, dating, impressing people. These things are going to be important right now, to just go out there and, it's interesting because I'm wearing red on Jupiter's day, the color of Mars, because Mars and Venus are conjunct. And ultimately, when you think about it, Mars is pretty strong in Capricorn. However, Venus is not a complete no-show. I'll tell you why. There's a way that Venus is sort of, equally important, right? Equally important. And I'll get to that, especially when we get to the Vedic astrology part. Now we've got amorous games, eye contact, meeting somebody, wanting to go out on dates, going out on different dates, with multiple people. So that's also very possible. We need love, we need affection, we need sex right now, okay? We need to connect with someone, we need to feel our passions. It's a time of unbridled passion that Mars and Venus brings, especially in Capricorn, right? So what do we do with our high libido? What do we do with it? Because after all, it is the activation of the Swadhisthana chakra. And the thing is that when Venus is also intimacy, remember that. Venus is very much about intimacy, whereas Mars is not so much about intimacy. Mars is about high libido. So immediately there's a conflict that comes into play between the need for different sexual experiences that Mars brings to the table, and also the need for familiarity that Capricorn brings to the table, and also the need for intimacy that Venus brings to the table. So, that all these conflicting things happening, because no matter what, Capricorn does not like to change things up. They like the tried and tested. It's not this Mars in Aquarius. It's still Mars in cardinal Capricorn, Earth, really fixed, although it's not a fixed sign, but Earth is generally fixed. Earth is tangible, right? So there's this conflict that we immediately see between high libido and a need for intimacy. And also, no matter how sexual Capricorn can be, they don't like to go around just having mindless sex. They need to feel invested or vested in the scenario. Otherwise, they tend to lose interest. Okay? Many people with strong Capricorn placements like to be invested in something. They like to go about the long game. Okay, they want to win this person over. So immediately you see the clashing ideologies, right, of these two planetary bodies and the sign that they meet in. Immediately you see the kind of clashing ideologies that come to the forefront. Now, in my 2 decades of experience with astrology, I'll tell you that Venus-Mars conjunctions, there's a need to have many partners. Be it before marriage, you have conjugal relationships with many people, and then you fall in love, you get married. But there's also a propensity towards having affairs, and in some cases multiple marriages. It's more than possible, multiple marriages. So remember that Mars and Venus together, they bring about this need to experience amorous encounters over and over again with different people. There is so many marriages and many affairs and many sexual encounters. Okay, they could also possibly cheat. Depends, of course, upon the dignity of the planets. Now, so we see an unbridled, raw, tempestuous, naked passion that comes forth in the collective consciousness. So, right, all of us are feeling this, right? In fact, matter exists because of planetary rays, and whether our lives are going fine or they're not going fine is all dependent on channeling the correct planetary rays. So, it does not mean if you have a planet in rulership or a planet in exaltation that you will always have the best life. You know, if or contraire, okay. And I'll tell you that in many instances a planet in fall can operate very well if you're channeling the correct rays of the planet, so doing the correct remedies, chanting the correct mantras, okay, or engaging in the correct spiritual practices that will give you that frequency attunement to the planetary rays that you're trying to harness. So, of course, it's a time to get social, right? Social, we do not associate Capricorn with a social butterfly, but Capricorn has to network, has to socialize. I think that we see this height of networking, of Saturn's networking in Aquarius, but believe me, Capricorn is about hierarchies. Okay, it is about the mountain goat becoming the sea goat becoming the unicorn. So you keep on going up the mountain, up hierarchies, up and down. You know, you have to climb a steady climb, and you can't climb alone. You need, if you want mastery over your 3D world, you can't do it alone. Can Elon Musk do what he is doing alone? No, he can't. Can Jeff Bezos, without the thousands of Amazon workers, can Jeff Bezos do anything alone? No, it's not possible. So we need people. So Capricorn, being the height of business savvy, understands this, that it is the time to bring people together, socialize, okay, and go out. Don't neglect that side of you, that social side of you, unless of course it's happening in your 8th house or 12th house. The 8th house also, you will have more volatile experiences with all these sexual escapades. You'll have more volatile experiences, but it could be what you need. So again, what is good, what is bad is entirely subjective. Right? Planets are not good or bad. No planet is malefic or benefic actually. We talk of them because it's easier for us to understand their energy if we talk about them like that. Because we like to quantify things. We like to label things. So sometimes to the detriment of our own psyche or our own conscious evolution, we like to label things because it just makes it easier for us to understand a system of ideas. Nonetheless, no planet is a benefic, no planet is a malefic, and you can work your way around them. You can connect with them, you can invoke them, you can love them. Even if you don't know any mantra, just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. If you can see the planet in the skies, if you can't see the planet, no problem. Just look at a picture online and just tell the planet, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Even that will help you. What in Sanskrit we call kripa. Without a devata's kripa, without the kripa of the spiritual being inhabiting these planets, we will not be able to get the correct planetary rays. So that is very important to understand, that it is time for us to tune into Mars and Venus and not the shadow side, which is jealousy, possessiveness, extra libido. On the higher vibrations, Mars and Venus coming together is like Shiva Shakti coming together. The polarities, the masculine, feminine in the sacred Hieros Gamos or in Yabyam, right? They come together. The male and the female coalesce into one another, right? And they become one. When two become one, okay? So this is what you need to understand, the alchemical marriage of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. So this is what Venus can bring out for you, the hierarchies within and without, the sacred alchemical marriage of the male and the female within and without, right? So Venus takes about a year, so she's quick, moves quicker than Mars. Mars takes about 2 years around the zodiacal belt, okay? Now March 3rd, coming up, Venus and Mars will be conjunct Pluto at 27 degrees of Capricorn and the third decan of Capricorn. So now they're meeting in the second decan of Capricorn. So I told you that triplicities. Each sign is divided into 3 divisions, triplicities. So we've got the first decan of Capricorn is Capricorn triplicity. The second decan of Capricorn is Taurus triplicity. The third decan of Capricorn is Virgo triplicity. So here we have them meeting today in the Taurus triplicity ruled by Venus again. So you see how Venus immediately becomes comes into her own power, you know, because here we have Mars in his exaltation, and Mars is cruder, right? Yes, I did. So, and Mars is cruder, you know. Mars is strict, harsh, cuts and burns. So Mars mostly wins all these planetary confrontations with Venus. Okay, however, we see that Venus comes into her own because it's Taurus triplicity, right? So she is feeding off her energy through triplicity. Isn't that beautiful? So Venus, the alchemical female, the feminine, steps into her own power. Yes, it may be firstly Saturn and she are friends, so that's a good thing. She's in the house of her friend, so yay. And she's in her triplicity, in her decan, Taurus decan, so she is feeling the grounding. She's feeling this in her body, because Taurus deals with the physical body and vegetation. What is vegetation? What we consume to sustain and create this physical body. So we've got this diabolical meeting at 27 Capricorn. It's actually just 1 degree away from my lot of fortune at 28 degrees of Capricorn. Interesting times for me. But this happens in the third decan. This is Mercury, Virgo triplicity ruled by Mercury. So again, we see that Venus and Mercury are sort of closer than Mars and Mercury. Mars and Mercury just don't get along together because they're very different. Mars is just do and Mercury is thought. So there's this disparity between their energies. So we see this meeting of Pluto happens under the watchful gaze of Mercury. Of course, it's Capricorn, so Saturn's always giving his watchful gaze. You know, he's just moved out of there. So he's laid the groundwork. You know, I've laid the groundwork. Now you go ahead and you build on what I've given you, says Saturn. Right? Jupiter's moved through that. So Jupiter's like already expanded all of these Capricornian ideas. Now, these guys, Venus and Mars, meeting hand in hand, and they walk together through this Capricornian jungle, and there is Hades, Pluto, you know, the ruler of Hades, Pluto, and he's right there, and the male-female meet Pluto, the devil. So it reminds me of the devil card actually in tarot. I wish I had it with me. You know, where you have the devil and in front of him stands a man who's looking at the woman naked, and the woman is looking forward. So the anima and the animus principle, the anima being the female, the animus being the male, you know, and the animus has to rely on the female to show him the way. Okay, this was the path of Mary Magdalene, this was the path of Venus, this is the path of Tantra, of Shakti, okay, of Yoni Puja, of understanding the power of the Yoni. So then we've got all of them meeting at 27 degrees of Capricorn and having a final conversation about all of these planetary alignments in Capricorn. So it's huge for anybody with anything at 27 degrees of Capricorn, 28 degrees of Capricorn. It's huge. Now, the card for this decan is 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles is like a really outgoing card. Like, you know, you're there in front of this marketplace, and you have people, and you show them what you can do or what you can speak, or things you've created, and they're listening to you. They are interested in what you have to say, so displaying what you have. So again, this is echoing the energy of Mars and Venus together, being together, showing this feminine masculine polarity coming together when two become one. Okay, very, very interesting. Now the Sabian symbol of 17 degrees is a girl surreptitiously bathing in the nude. Surreptitiously is like, almost like coyly, like, cautiously, yet surreptitiously. So a girl is surreptitiously bathing in the nude. Okay, so we see this nudity again being reflected at us. Why? Because nudity means that there is no need for I will surely that there is no need for any pretenses. There's no need for any masks or for any exterior covering. For we are made of flesh and bones. So when you go nude, you drop the inhibitions that sort of keep you caged in, right? All these societal, what has made us civilized, these have become our chains. And even in the devil card, if you see, and why I mentioned the devil card, because it's a card of Capricorn. It's card of Saturn, Ultimately, when you see these nude figures, there's just a lot that they want to shed these inhibitions, yet they are chained to the figure in front of them. And yet when you observe, they're not really chained. They can escape if they want to, if they apply themselves, but they decide not to. Because the anima, the female looks forward and the male is looking at the anima. So the animus needs guidance. The male needs to be guided. That's why the lingam is guided into the yoni. Right? The yoni is an enclosure. The lingam is guided into the yoni. So this kind of energies we see coming forward at this time. Tenderness, when we think of a girl surreptitiously bathing in the nude, we immediately think of tenderness, because there's a particular ethos any image may bring up, a particular set of feelings. So I definitely see that tenderness, and reminds me of the song by Lisa Gerrard, Come Tenderness. And oh my God, it is such a beautiful piece. It's on YouTube, so you can check it out. Come Tenderness by Lisa Gerrard. Very beautiful. And when you think of somebody bathing in the nude, you think of, there's a tenderness, there's a sweetness, depending upon how the light plays on them, how the wind plays with their hair. There's definitely an artistic element to it, but there's also a vulnerability to that character. There's a sense of being exposed. Why? Because in society, being nude is frowned upon. It's not civilized. So there are lots of, when you think of ideas or literature or astrology is definitely a science with all the calculations and all, but it's also an art form. It's also a way to narrate archetypes. It's a way to narrate what's in our heart, and we can use cinematic expressions, musical expressions to better convey astrological meaning. So, of course, there's a vulnerability. There's a thing that, okay, I'm being exposed. People are seeing me for who I am. Nakedness is not just nakedness of the body, it's nakedness of the soul. And this bath is almost like a baptism. It's almost like an anointation. When you anoint yourself with holy water, when you see that the exorcist is performing an exorcism and he throws this holy water, this demon by the name of the Father and the Holy Ghost, Son and the Holy Ghost, I, sprinkle you with holy water, and the demon reacts. So water, or any kind of ablutions with water, which is sacred baths, or it's almost like a baptism. Okay, so bathing is not just bathing the physical body, but it could be a baptism of the soul. Where you can come naked, you can come undone. And we think that coming undone is not necessarily a good thing, but I would beg to disagree, because we have the monkey brain chirping in the background the whole time, and this is how we keep it together, this is logic, this is this is that. And then when we come undone, we surrender to a sort of a pre-verbal state of intuition, and we tune into something that is not obvious. And we are honestly missing a lot of what is out there, because we see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum, and we hear less than 1% of the acoustic spectrum. So there's a lot going on there that we don't see. That cogitation or logic is not going to sustain us in figuring out those mysteries. But there's something sublime, there's something ethereal in our experiences, that we are like those horses with blinkers. We don't see the pastoral beauty, the green foliage. We just see the road in front, and what's there, that concrete. So that's something to think about, and how we feel with this conjunction right now. Do we feel like a horse with a blinker? Are we ready to allow the hierarchies to happen? Are we going to surrender to this pre-verbal intuitive state? Because if you're an artist or if you're a writer, this Mars-Venus conjunction can stir up things inside of you. Oh my God, I think someone started to play really loud music. Oh my God, okay. So, as I was saying, that it's really loud. Can you guys hear me? My God. I have no idea how they can blast music like this. Now let's get to the Vedic analysis. So we've got Mars and Venus meeting up in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. I told you the Vedic signs are 24 degrees behind the sidereal zodiac, okay? And the interesting thing about Vedic astrology is Venus and Mars are neutral to each other. So they are going to bring out a sense of neutrality. Okay, like where you are there, I'm there. Imagine if you're neutral to someone. You don't love them, you don't hate them. You're like right there with them. So, in that case, you may ignore them, of course. Or you may be open to listening to what they have to say, because you're not judging them. You have no preconceived notions. You're like neutral to them. Now, Mars signifies unbridled passion. Venus exemplifies love. And we must understand one thing in the Vedic interpretation of this, that Mars is well placed in Jupiter's Sagittarius, whereas Venus is not so well placed. Remember, Jupiter is an enemy of Venus. So, again, being in the enemy's house, it's not easy, right? So Venus, in her soft and beautiful ways, is in her enemy's house. So, that. Now, Venus is retrograde, was retrograde till Jan 29th, and is now moving stationary forward. So this Venus is slow. Venus is not moving in her quick speed. That's why she is moving with Mars. They are together. Now, negative aspects of this. Mars can bring about anger, mindless adultery, philandering, sex, violence, tempers. Venus can bring about materialism, becoming slave to materialism, becoming slave to five senses, eating too much. Mars makes you hungry. So, you're eating too much because you're like, I need to eat comfort food because I feel comfortable right now. Or you're not eating because you're so scared of what you look like. Any kind of eating disorder is, after all, a disorder, and we need to address it. Too much, too little of anything is bad. Now, we've got them meeting in Purva Ashadha. The Nakshatra Purva Ashadha, and remember that the Ganpati to worship, because Ganpati can give you good results of Venus as well as Mars. So the Ganpati to worship here is Rinmochana Ganpati. Okay, it's again another video. So Rinmochana Ganpati is the 25th form of Ganpati. Rin is debt Mochan is doing away with. So the Ganpati that frees you from debt is Rid Mochana Ganpati. Okay, and they are meeting together in Purva Ashadha in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. Who rules Purva Ashadha? Venus. So we see Venus is becoming super strong. Even in Western astrology, we saw that Venus, okay, not so, in her friend's place, but in Capricorn, and she's not that strong like Mars, it's his exaltation, but she is in her triplicity. Again, we see the same thing echoing here. Venus and Mars are meeting in Purva Ashadha. Okay, Purva Ashadha, and Purva Ashadha is ruled by Venus. So Venus again comes into her own. Venus steps into a paradigm of power. She's like, okay, great Mars, you're a friend of Jupiter. He's my enemy. But hey guys, welcome to my Nakshatra. And my Nakshatra is Purva Ashadha. And so Rid Mochana Ganpati must be prayed to. And if you want to know more about Rid Mochana Ganpati, then you can drop me an email. I do workshops of all the 32 forms of Ganpati with their mantras. Now, the symbol ruler is Venus. Symbol is a fan or a winnowing basket. Okay. Now, the deity is Apas. Apas is the water god. And a second deity is Varuna, or the god of rain. Okay. Remember, Purva Ashadha is known as the undefeated or Aparajita, which means you cannot defeat Purva Ashadha. Whatever is coming up here is going to finally conquer everything. So, the undefeated. Now, Purva Ashadha is very faithful to their mates, you know that? Purva Ashadha natives, Moon and Purva Ashadha ascendant, they're very faithful to their mates. And they tend to stay in good marriages, non-toxic marriages, Purva Ashadha people. So if you're Purva Ashadha and you're watching this and you're like, nay, she's wrong, then please drop me some lines in the comments below to tell me if your marriage is good or not, if you're a Purva Ashadha native. Because in my experience, I have seen Purva Ashadha natives always find themselves in good marriages. Not always, but they tend to have better marriages than most. Let's just put it that way. So now this conjunction, they are faithful to their mates, right? They're not so amorous, they're not looking to cheat, right? So this conjunction may challenge that because it spikes up the libido. Okay, it spikes up the libido. It is in this undefeated zone where you have this and Jupiterian expansion. So that is something to think about, that this conjunction in Purva Ashadha may challenge the natives. Okay, they may cheat. I'm not saying every Purva Ashadha native is going to cheat, but you understand the subtleties that I am alluding to, I'm quite sure. Now remember that the Purva Ashadha is Ugra Krura. Okay, so there's this sense of, passion and intensity that builds up with Purva Ashadha. Okay, with Purva Ashadha, right? There's an intensity that builds up. Now, however, this Nakshatra is Manushya. So there's going to be this kind of interest in connecting with one another. So what do Manushyas like, or humans? Humans like connection. We are social beings. We like to connect. We like to talk. What am I doing on YouTube Lives? Just connecting. It's another form of connection that I have with my subscribers, right? So there's this intensity today. I felt the need to come out and do lives and interact with you guys. Okay, so that's there. But interestingly, that so Venus is in Leo. I've already made videos on that, many videos. So check that out. Check out all my playlists. I've got like thousands of videos. So the motivation of this nakshatra is moksha. So many people may find their soulmates or their tantric sex partner, and they can possibly understand the spiritual experience during a sexual encounter together. Moksha, so you're not looking at artha, which is money, you're looking at moksha. You're not looking at karma, which is just desire. You're looking at something spiritual. Yeah, you want to connect, yeah, you want to feel intense, you want to be sexual, but there has to be a bigger meaning to this. I feel that. So the padas again are Leo. First Navamsa is Leo Navamsa, ruled by the sun. So here we've got Venusian energy, and we've got, of course, Jupiterian energy, it's in Sag, and we've got sun energy. So it's very interesting. Venus is not really friends with Sun or Jupiter, okay? And that's going to be quite something. And second Navamsa is Virgo Navamsa. Again, Venus is better with Mercury. Mercury rules Virgo. So Mercury is bringing in his blend. Venus is bringing in her blend. And Jupiter is bringing in his blend. Okay, so it can be quite contradictory actually, this Navamsa. And then we've got Libra and we've got Scorpio. Okay, now the dosha of this nakshatra is Pitta dosha. Again, acidity, dyspepsia, burping, gas, all of that. Water magic can be very powerful right now. Okay, like just doing all kinds of water rituals. Venus is also beauty, so you can enhance your beauty greatly at this point, especially with Mars giving that impetus, especially if they're in your first house. So you can feel beautiful right now and doing all kinds of water magic. I've got magnetic ritual with water. I've got a lot of videos that deal with that, so you can check them out. But honestly, water magic is going to be very powerful. I've got videos on that, how to do water magic, so you can check those out. And if you face the east side and you do crystal baths, sacred bath, all of this is good. See again the Sabian symbol, a girl surreptitiously bathing in the nude. So again, you have this water energy with this nakshatra being ruled by Apas and Varuna, and they are gods of rain and water. I mean, Apas is water, Varuna is rain. So imagine that. Again, you have the sacred bath component, how systems converge and they don't even realize it. Like, a Vedic Pandit would not understand what it means for the Sabian symbol, which is like 24 degrees ahead, to say a girl surreptitiously taking a bath. And here you have this nakshatra, which is ruled by Apas. Again, the water theme is percolating. So whether the people who made Sabian symbols were aware of the nakshatras, and I don't think so, because Sabian symbols were channeled. So then again, when something gets channeled, then they are like sort of coming from the etheric world. So then there will be no discrepancy in the systems. They will always be aligned. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Sacred baths, please. Salt baths also will work. The Shakti is Varcha Grahan Shakti, which means the power to energize. Okay, this nakshatra has the power to energize. So, depending on the house it falls in for you, you can energize that part of your life. Okay, it doesn't always have to be libido. It doesn't have to be, a lot of people can conceive with this. A lot of people can conceive with this. A lot of people can, create with this. Creative work or, paint. There's something about this. This is, water and painting are anyway very connected. Right. So remember that power to energize anything that is around you in your life. So first house, if this is happening for you in the first house, rest assured your physical body, your psychological makeup, all of that you can change. Second house, income, resources, there could be a way for you to energize both of that. Third house, siblings, neighborhoods, local travel. Something happens that energizes. Maybe you go for a Vipassana workshop, okay, 7 days of complete silence. And maybe you've had a very bad breakup, and then when you go there, you finally meet someone who's just right for you, right? So this is also possible with this, that there's a way to energize. If you take a local trip somewhere, and this is happening in your third house, bam, that can happen. Fourth house, all kinds of things with family. You can energize, something with your family, your kids, you can get back to your mother. You can do so many things with that. Fifth house, kids, energize your relationship with your children, because this activation of the Swadhisthana gives you energy, and you can channel this energy anyway. Some people think that it's only sex, but it's not only sex. Like fifth house is children as well as creativity. So because when we create something, they're like our children. All these creations are like our children. Okay? All these YouTube videos are my kids, are my children. So, for me, this is happening in my fifth house. So I felt creatively charged that, in spite of doing readings all day, in spite of working non-stop, I felt the need to do this. If it's in your sixth house, health, maybe some enemy of yours becomes a friend. Okay, seventh house, marriage, partnerships, open enemies again. Maybe you're able to explain your point to a business rival and they actually understand it. Eighth may be a way that you may have been, not up to date with your tax, or maybe you had some inheritance situation that was lingering. So then this gives it that impetus, right? Ninth house again, publishing. If you've got that book that you were looking to publish, yeah, could be a good time for you to use this energy and use the power of Appas. And water's everywhere. We are, after all, water too, 10th house, your social recognition, shine, give your image a boost, right? And 11th house, larger communities, the internet. Maybe you own a business and this is happening in your 11th house. So you go out there and you give your business a push. So then, you go online and you maybe start a YouTube campaign, or maybe you start an Instagram campaign, and you literally see that it's working, it's doing what it's supposed to do, giving you those hits and all of that. 12th house, again, maybe you were incarcerated, and maybe this gives you the impetus to go out into the world again, or maybe you're near water somewhere and you literally have this absolutely transcendental experience. So you see where I'm going with this. This Shakti to energize is super solid in this nakshatra. So you get that push. Okay, and Mars loves pushing. So you get that push. Again, Mars mantra is Om Kram Kring Krong Sa Mangalaya Namaha. Om Kram Kring Krong Sa Mangalaya Namaha. Om Kram Kring Krong Sa Mangalaya Namaha. And Venus's mantra, if you know what it is, it's Om Drang Kring Krong Sa Shukraya Namaha. Om Drang Kring Krong Sa Shukraya Namaha. Om Drang Kring Krong Sa Shukraya Namaha. I've got videos on that. I told you can check that out. Okay, and so that's it. That was a bit about the conjunction of Mars and Venus in tropical Capricorn, 17 degrees. Sabian symbol, a girl surreptitiously bathing in the nude. And this is happening exactly 24 degrees behind in the sidereal chart. This is happening in Sagittarius. This is happening in the nakshatra of Purva, Ashadha, ruled by Venus. Okay, so let's hope that this Mars and Venus conjunction gives you what you need, the impetus, the feeling to, want intimacy, the feeling to have these libidinal experiences and stuff like that. I hope you have that, and I hope you find the love you need, because I know a lot of people will be looking for a love connection right now. And it's very interesting because the next video that I'm about to make, that I will come live for in a little bit, it's about the asteroid Magdalena, named after Mary Magdalene. And the asteroid Magdalena is on the galactic center. And so I will be talking about sacred sexuality and the high priestesses of sexual magic in my next video. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. Thank you for being a part of my YouTube journey. See you soon.